Got it.
Got it.
Matt, we didn't talk music recently, but you shared, who'd you share in the I'm so tired of being, what is it?
Oh, the Al Green song?
Al
I'm so
Green,
tired
right?
of being. Yeah,
I'm
classic.
so tired of being alone. What is it?
Yes, yeah, that's the one.
So great.
14,760 as we're testing the lows on the NASDAQ. 14,740 coming up here.
Matt, you are a completely beautiful example of hoodies and cryptos. You know, they talk about hoodies and suits, and you are fully on hoodied today. Black skull cap, hoodied up. Dude, I like the look. I love the look. I'm so tired of being Matt, you know what I'm so tired of? Speaking of Al
What are you
Green,
tired of, Bobby? What?
I'm so tired of shit like this. You shared it, shared the Senate Republicans. This is the bill, 2,500 pages, right? It would listen, I'm not a fast reader. I can read, right? And I can understand, but I'm not fast at it, right?
Right.
$3.5 trillion price tag, $1,400,000,000 a page. Pretty sweet. Nancy Pelosi fully talking about Obama.
Just stop right there. Just stop right there. 2,500 pages at $1 billion for a page. Boggling.
Right? Well, Nancy was talking
and he's not going to raise your taxes. Amazing.
Of course not, because everything pencils. Everything pencils, right? And I will never forget. This is how fucking ridiculous this is. This is why I'm so tired of it all. Do you remember the theatrics of a Ronald Reagan slamming down a fucking, in a State of the Union address, slamming down a funding fucking thing, you know, and it was this big, same thing. He's like, I never want to see this again on my desk. Well, guess what? Because this leads us into, listen, we said it
guess
all
who
along.
he followed? He followed Carter. So guess what? It's the same shit.
Follow the money, Matt. That's all we ever talk about. And this one you shared also. Can't wait to see the meme boys short the most loved congressional equities. I really think if we could do anything in our lives as prognosticators, broadcasters, you know, if we could get the Wall Street mod crew and the rest of the general public start fighting with their pocketbook against this tyranny that's going on in the United States of America. These are congressional senators and Congress people, and they're long Pfizer and J&J. A lot of metrics going on about the jab, Matt, and I don't even want to get into it. We talk vax all the time. But let's talk about Pfizer, J&J, Moderna from a price discovery, right? Because, listen, I don't want you to short something, and we would never tell somebody to. In fact, we like to talk the long and short story, depending on time frame. That's the beautiful thing about trading. Like, depending on the time frame, I could come up with any long or short discussion that you want to have, right? Yeah. I got to be the long gold guy. Okay, let me find a time frame that supports long gold. I mean, that's how you do it if you're in the television space. Anyway, bring up one of them.
It's interesting. The last time we talked about Pfizer, it's interesting. It was at $50, and I was like, I think you can sell it. It's stretching, you know, because again, this is not a small company. This is a $242 billion market cap. So for this thing to move from 40 to 50 is a 20% move on $200 billion, which is 40 large, which is only 40 pages, by the way, of that Republican 2,500. So it's really not that big compared to. I'm gonna reference everything to the pages of the new Democratic tax bullshit plan. That's never going to happen. By the way,
it's the infrastructure bill that isn't really infrastructure. Yeah, oh, it's beautiful.
Lord. Yeah, we need bigger government. That's what we need. But take a look at Pfizer. 50. You know, when we mentioned that about a month ago, mid-August, it was $51, and since it's back to 43, Bob. So right in here, you know, I'd be a buyer, I guess, above 36. But
Yeah, exactly. Like you missed it. You got to wait for a
Now,
pump to sell this
you
thing.
miss the parabolic type move, and the same thing I can tell you because I've been trading Myrna on the option side. This thing has been insane, and it's at a new low here. Matter of fact, I talked about this yesterday in the room. If this 370 level goes on a closing level, especially on a Friday, Bob, and this could line up with everything that's coming out. Like this stuff doesn't. The whole kabuki theater that is going on right now with Biden getting jabbed on a set with cameras on both sides showing the set and the fake backdrop. I mean, if they're not trying to tell us something that this is all baloney, like with that, I don't know what the hell, like, who are you people all that dumb? Are you all sleeping and not seeing what's going on? Because it doesn't make any sense to me. And guess what? The stock market is always a leading indicator. It may know more about what's happening here behind the scenes than we do. And we know plenty that it's evil and it's not working. And this Myrna has been around for 25, 40 years and it never has been successful. And, it was involved in the AIDS side of things. It was involved in cancer cures. These guys don't have it figured out, people. If you haven't figured it out, anyways, I'm looking at this stock, Bob.
While you have the stock up, let me read from something shared today from Jeff Carter on Twitter, and it's a anonymous PDF about a lot of things.
By the way, that PDF is gone already. It's been washed from the web.
Spartacus, he's calling himself.
But the PDF that he references in that is washed. To hit the link, it's gone. It gives you a 404 already.
All right, well, let me share, Matt, because I just want to read just one paragraph from it. And the only reason why I read the paragraph is because trust is what we've been talking about for several things. And like, how do you trust any of this shit? It's unbelievable. And I thought this right away. I actually had this thought a while ago. Anyway, this is the article, or this is the paragraph I want to read. December 12th, 2019, Ralph Barrick signed a material transfer agreement, essentially an NDA, non-disclosure, to receive coronavirus mRNA vaccine-related materials co-owned by Moderna and the NIH. It wasn't until a whole month later, supposedly January 11th, 2020, we all know this, it's in the news, that China allegedly sent us the DNA sequence that would become known as SARS-CoV-2. Moderna claims, rather absurdly, that they developed a working vaccine from this sequence in under 48 hours. Now, when I first saw this, when it came out, one of the things because it's amazing how you see one thing and then you see something else. Because along this timeline, I saw a whole story about a vaccine that they were developing for what do you call it? For the tick-borne Lyme's disease, a Lyme's disease vaccine. They've been working on it for a decade, and they thought in another 4 years they might have a working vaccine for Lyme's disease. That was the whole article about this breakthrough that they're making in the Lyme's disease vaccine. Yet I'm supposed to believe, as a logical Libra, I'm a Libra. Like, let me balance this out. That they did it in 48 hours. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm the crazy one. But anyway, a great PDF. We will share the link and see if we can't get banned ourselves. Anyway, Matt, let's look at Pfizer and J&J. We didn't look at J&J, another giant company. And so vaccines,
instead of J&J,
a very small part of their portfolio.
J&J, if you haven't noticed, J&J has faded away from the picture. They're not even, I think they realized they didn't want to be involved, so they're not even involved anymore, the way I see things. So I'm not even going to bring up J&J. It's such a small piece.
Okay. Overruled.
Overruled. But I will talk bio, their partner, BNTX. And BNTX is BioNTech, which is actually, the partner with J&J. And this thing had peaked again. You can see the same chart. Like if I didn't tell you the prices, they're almost identical, just in the stock price. Now, this is a $67 billion market cap versus, and I'll just bring this back just to refresh our viewers, but Myrna is a double that, well, a little bit, almost triple, 153 billion. You see how they both had that same spike? That was August 10th. Let me go back to BNTX. Let's just see if that was all the same coordinated. Yes, it was August 10th. So again, everything peaked then, and you can see the same type of chart. And BioNTech, I don't even know how to say it. BioNTech is also at this key juncture here. When 275 falls on a closing, Bob, and you can see it's already a runaway train. This is what is called momentum to the downside. This was momentum to the upside. This is momentum to the downside. All these people here, Bob, $120, $100 or $180 worth of trades over the last month are trapped, right? Month and a half, 6 weeks. Anybody that bought in the last 6 weeks is underwater. What are they going to do? They're going to buy more because it's cheaply discounted, or were they momentum players and they're going to have to bail like rats on a ship? Yes, I'm going to go with 2. They're going to bail. So when 275 goes, I mean, there's nothing under here. There's some support here at 230. There's a little bit at 200. There's a little bit at 175. It's going to work its way back to $108. No different than Myrna is going to work its way back to down here, which is, the top of the profile is 180, ultimately back to $65. Again, this business could collapse overnight. It's a one-hit wonder. Yeah, billions of dollars, and everybody will sue them, just like that happened with the opiate. You're basically seeing the opiate train wreck. The Purdue Pharma Company, that family that got sued just went bankrupt. The same thing will happen with this. The people that are involved on the inside are all going to take their money. They're all going to cash out, and this thing's going to puke when this thing is finally proven to be the scam that it is.
All right, Matt.
I have no doubt. I believe in goodness and people, and I have no doubt in my mind this will be exposed.
Let's talk a couple of more, Matt. Netflix getting a pump, and we were talking about this coming into the show. Since I mentioned it to you before we came on air, it had already come off like $6 or $8. But Netflix. Let me share first, because we talked about this nuance, and this is the weekly in Netflix. And I, as a commodity trader, when I see this chart set up, I am very cautious about shorting something that has this kind of exponential potentiality on the standard deviation modeling to the upside. That's the weekly. So room out almost to 650. We come in on the daily, and it's right into the collar. It's an area where you should on a daily time frame, and I know you're going to bring it up too on the profile. You should be taking a stab here. My only thought was caution from a commodity trader's perspective. The caution is it really should respect this daily time frame and fall away. I have no problem selling it into the daily collar, into the double top, into the high of the profile. All I'm telling you is that from a commodity perspective, on the weekly, if it doesn't reject it, if it just stays here the next couple of days and closes the week strong, I'd be very leery being shorted. Now, please share it and give me your perspective and the nuance that stocks are not fucking commodities until the Wall Street bet boys get involved, and then they're worse.
Yeah, and again, 206. This is worth a little bit more than BioNTech and Myrna combined, still at 266 billion, which again is we're only talking 260 or 10% of the Democratic plan of $3.5 trillion, 2,500 pages, right? Or $1.4 billion a page. So we're only talking about 200 pages of the thing. That is what Netflix is worth, 200 pages of this new proposal.
It's impossible. It's impossible it's worth that much.
This is our new metric.
Except we're going to get into the dollar and energy prices, because if it's a long fucking cold winter and you're going to shiver on your couch because you can't afford heat, maybe Netflix is the buy.
Okay, again, fundamental trade for you. This is a technical trade. We have news today. Netflix acquired a video game developer, and that's why we are up. Okay, that's why we're up $17. This is by the way a year chart that we're looking at, 610. And yeah, we're getting close to breaking out again, but I don't play breakouts. First of all, they always, I'm not into them. It's not my thing. But it's not new. We've been going up for a long time. We've been going up since mid-August. So all this news should be built in my book. And if you watch the action today, you kind of had that blow off and you got that candle. And it just happened as we were talking, as we were starting here, Bob, at around 8, you and I came on and we're prepping. I'm like, I'm selling this right now. And I got lucky with the timing. So 609 down here to 600. I did it via calls. So I sold out on the money calls. They were really fat and collapsing. I'll be out of here probably in the next hour. That being said, this was an exhaustive, and you had news. It wasn't like it was going up with no news and people are like going, what's going on? Why are people quietly buying it? We're waiting for the news. So it all depends on what's going on in equities. Equities don't have the same type of momentum and crazy squeezes that futures do. And so you're right. And matter of fact, that I think, as a newer trader in the 90s myself, early 90s to the late 90s, I experienced stocks that did the type of moves that AMC and GME had recently. But these types of names are so widely traded on both sides of the market, up and down the river, that it's just not that easy to keep pushing them forever and ever. They're thick. There's a lot of players on both sides of the market. So that's my reasoning for it. There was news today. It was up considerably. It's already come off $8, which again is, a solid 1.5%. I don't know about you, but if you can do that over and over again, 1.5%, intraday, it makes for a good way to make a living. So, and that's all it is. I don't hate the stock beyond that, and I'll be out of it here. Like I said, probably today. I've already made my money. So,
right on, man. Let's talk the dollar and on that thing that we just talked about. Energy prices through the roof. Europe, especially let's actually just look at the euro. Do you have that?
Yeah, I can bring it up. Yeah, well,
dollar euro.
Well, I've been beating the drum on 64 for a long time, 94 on the dollar. And obviously you're going to see the relationship here with the euro show up. And let me show this. It's the inverted relationship to the dollar. So the euro, if it closes under 116, is a multi-year level here. And I'll show it this is a weekly chart, Bob. And it's hard to see, but this, I think we're going to trade back to this 112 area, which probably lines up with the dollar going to 98 to par 100. And I'll bring up the dollar here in a moment. But yeah, this is on a shorter term chart. You can see this. The euro has been getting schmeezed. And if you look at what's happening economically in Europe and all the elections with Italy, Spain, Germany, all going through elections, France is crazily locked down. They're creating energy shortages in London for gasoline. People are knifing each other on the streets, if you haven't seen the videos of this stuff, because they can't fill up their cars with gasoline. So, and they're trying to use this as a whole climate, change BS. And we know that they're throwing everything that they can at it right now. I just don't see this sustaining, and it's going to get really ugly in Europe before it gets really ugly in the US. But what you're watching happening in Australia is now carrying over to Europe, and it's just moving eastward, right? We're just moving eastward as we go. And I think this fall and winter with the natural gas prices, 3x over the last 6 months, thanks Biden, is really going to cause a lot of stress and pain in the system worldwide here as we get into the cooler months. And they're going to play the whole flu's back, COVID's back, get your 17th vax. Okay. More people are, and then my mind is just racing right now because it's just so crazy.
All right, stay on target, Matt. So let's go to the dollar.
So let's go to the dollar.
Euro is just one portion of that DXY, which is the dollar. A bunch of them, a basket of currencies against the dollar.
So DXY, again, let me try to find it here in my charts. Where's Lee? Where's Lee when you need him?
Right? Exactly.
And the DX is trading 94 and a quarter-ish right now. And again, we talked about this at the end of last year. We said get long the dollar they were crushing it into the end of the year. I think what you're going to see now is you're going to see a run into the end of this year that possibly could take us to 98, 96, 90, even up to 100. I mean, you forget when COVID hit, the dollar traded up to almost 104, right? we're going to go, we will test that number again. And if you look at, longer term pictures, and by the way, everybody is short the dollar and everybody's long gold, and they're wrong. And the reason they're wrong, until the government loses complete confidence, and that will show up when gold starts going up. And you'll know when people are riding in the streets and the policemen are laying down their guns and won't listen to what their directives are from their local and city and national governments, then gold will go up and then dollar will crash. But not until that happens. And I don't see that happening this year or next year. It will happen in the next decade, but it's not going to be anytime soon. All right. So the dollar to me is definitely just starting its breakout. This is a clear breakout. I've been long since the 89s and at the end of December, January. And we traded up and then we came back. So you had two opportunities. You could have sold some, bought it again at 89 with that being the bottom. And here we go. We're back to 94.30-ish today. And again, I don't see this stopping, Bob. I see it going all the way up to par. I do see the dollar trading at least at 100 again. I really do.
All right, Matt, listen, I just found this. I saw this the other day and I thought it was just spectacular. Narratives. And we got Uncle Joe here as a raider of the Lost Ark, and he's going to swap that coronavirus and put in climate change. Just the amount of talk and rhetoric is through the roof. And again, shutting down people's lives. How is that all good for anything long term? The market in particular.
I don't care how liberal you are. That makes no sense to anybody. Correct.
All right, let me remove that. Oh, that was fast and furious to get that up there. Incredible job, HFR. Hey, thanks. I'm the light guy, the sound guy, the video guy, everything. All right, Matt, anything else that we want to cover?
Be careful out there. This is not the bull market you thought it was 2 months ago. I'll continue to say that.
Yeah, I mean, let me share.
We haven't even come close to washing out. I do think, I think on a longer term picture, I think we'll see 14,200 on the NASDAQ, which is a 10% correction. We're at 14.8 today. We're trading 14.8 right now. So that's another 600 points in the NASDAQ, I think, before you'll get close to a bottom. 10% on the SPOOs takes you to about 4,100, 4,150. I could see those 4,150, 4,200 coming before people start, because in these sell-offs we've had, I don't know if you've noticed, but the put call ratio has not been going up. So people are buying calls. They're not buying puts.
Right on. So I just wanted to bring this up and show it again. We talk about the slope
they are reflexed, taught to buy the fucking dip.
Yes, exactly. And that's fine, especially this whole, June, this whole area, because we had upward sloping bands like that. We never had 3-4 days in a row.
Correct.
Once we were in lower momentum. In fact, only 3 times have we spent any time in lower momentum. We got it here, a nice long drawdown, came back up, upper momentum level, pinged it perfectly. And the important thing today for me is this lower momentum level, which was the 63 area, went right up to it and rejected it. So you're starting to see, that's like the nuance, like with these lower sloping bands now on a standard deviation modeling, it's like people that are trading bigger sums of money are looking at those levels for areas to participate. And that's why they become reactive in good levels, just like high ends of value ranges in the profile, those type of things in longer time frames, that's the argument, becomes the argument point. And we talk about that all the time, important levels. You used to hear it on the floor when it was an important level, because there'd be a lot of trade activity. The volume of the floor would go up because there would be an argument at the point, bidders and sellers.
So
anyway,
we're looking at about a 2-year chart here, and the point of control on the 2-year chart is right here at 13.7. I'm suggesting 10% gets you right around to this hole, which is the top of this area, right? It lines up nicely. It's a 10%, so you take 10 off 15,725. That takes you down to 14.2, which is right here in the top of this profile. Again, bullish as long as we stay really kind of above 12.6 if you have a longer time frame. It starts getting below 12.6, it starts to, kind of shift and roll over the other way. That's real long-term stuff. Right now, real short-term, you can see we're in a conundrum where the bears are in charge, as we've talked about over the last few weeks. And again, you can see this 15.77 area. And if we get below this low that we just made here, which was not the low, that we settled into here in August, which was 14, it's that same number, 14,740. That's where we held the first time yesterday. If we get through that again, I could see very quickly moving 500 points down to this 14.2 level. I mean, it's just the extension of the extension. You went that high, and now you're going to go that low. This is how it happens. It mirrors up, it mirrors down. It inhales, it exhales. You got to take out all the people that were buying up here, and they'll puke down here. All the people that sold, or rather bought here, got to puke down here. That's just the way it works. There's this mirroring effect that happens. Whatever the range was, they tend to put that range on the downside that they had on the upside.
Right on, and then as we go forward days and weeks and we get into the fall and we see what energy prices are doing, we see if lockdowns come back, if COVID cases spike, if, there's so many ifs and buts. We used to say on the floor, ifs and buts were candy and nuts, every day'd be Christmas. Anyway, we're moving into the Christmas season. And there's going to be a lot that has to be, a lot
By the way,
get
your shopping done early, because these shelves are going to be barren.
Right on.
What's the hot gift this year, Bob? After
I think it's the Amazon, the robot that it rolls around your house and does a better job of spying on you for the CCP. Like when the TV can't hear you, it's like, hey, why did the robot just roll into the room? Like, I don't know. That's my take on it. Anyway,
I'm getting everybody the Boston Dynamics robots this year as their own personal protector,
right on.
Because they can't be reprogrammed to come against you, can they? Oh wait, they're robots. Yeah, they can.
Deep inside this plan is Biden's. I just seen this. Josh Man Mode shared it. Biden's tax increases 8 cents a mile if you're driving. Depending on your vehicle. Good luck fucking keeping track of that.
They're taking 8 cents off.
You got to pay 8 cents. Oh, well, are we going to have like a door-to-door odometer readers now? Is that do I get to apply for that job? I get to read your odometer once a year?
Well, no, it's already built into the car. They know exactly how far you go now.
Not my car, dude.
My car does.
My car's still flipping it. Old school.
My car tells me. Yours isn't even that old.
Still flipping it old school.
I mean, shit, my 2004 Armada had 270. It wasn't.
Yeah, that's the next thing. Like all the cars that you've owned, you're going to have to go pay back taxes on it. Nice. I put 350,000 on sir. Anyway, Matt, that's enough for today. You have a great day. We got a great weekend coming up. I know.
Hey, by the way, we got some. Hey, sports-wise, I haven't seen this in a long time. Well, I've seen the lack of respect for Michigan, but they are the higher-ranked, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. And honestly, this will be a one of the key tests that they have to, if they have any shot at going undefeated before they play the Buckeyes, they have to get by Wisconsin in Madtown. And I saw yesterday Wisconsin is 1-point favorites. In the old days, whenever Michigan, and it was rare, in the old days when they were the underdog, you always take them. They always win in those situations. I haven't seen Michigan be an underdog in a game like this where they should be favored in a long time. So take Michigan.
I don't know. Wisconsin look great.
I agree. And again, I'm a total homer. But I'm just telling you, my betting methodology, the only time I bet on Michigan is when they are getting points, because their fan base is so much like Notre Dame or Alabama. They all bet the homer bet. So if they're not favored, then the money is being laid everywhere else in the country against Michigan. So that means, which is making the line an advantage if you're a Michigan fan, because we should be favored.
All right. You heard it here first, folks. Barely got past Western Michigan.
And smart guys stick together. Richard Sherman rejoining Tom Brady down in Tampa Bay. They're going to be there again. I just can't. I can't not see
47-year-old Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Well, I'm not saying he's going to win, but they're going to be in the playoffs. They're going to make a run. I mean, and then Matthew Stafford with the Rams is going to lose in the NFC Championship game to him.
Poor guy.
Because he's never been. He has no history with the Lions of being in a playoff run.
You can't wipe that lion off of you.
You can't lion. You can't.
You cannot wipe it off you. It sticks with you for life.
It sticks with you for life. So he will.
And the other thing up here, the Chicago Bears into a purchase agreement for Arlington Park Race Course. The time is waning on the Chicago Bears playing on the lakefront. I think it's a travesty to go out and play in Arlington Heights. There's so much.
Why would they want to do that?
Money, Matt. You just follow the money everywhere, anywhere. You follow the money. That's what you do. All right. Ivermectin sucks because it's $1.80 for fucking 6 days. All right.
Now we got Pfizer Mectin. That's going to be available.
Pfizer Mectin will be on the shelves at the 700 a regimen.
But that's minimum. Normal. That's normal.
All right. You have a great day. Hey, please share the podcast, the broadcast. Please join us at marketvitals.io. And you know what, Matt, I think we need to do is we have some great lines, one-liners. We got to start putting our line. I saw it on Hotep Jesus. He does a good job. We need to get our one-lines on some T-shirts for people, you know, maybe with a caricature of our faces. For instance, don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining. That is mostly what we like to identify with. Just give me what you think. Buy or sell. Where am I right?
I read the metamorphosis of where that came from the other day, and I can't remember. It wasn't from you, but it was from somebody else.
Of course, it wasn't from me. I've stolen.
I know, but I know. And I wanted to remind you that was so and so's, and this was the context, but I can't remember. So maybe before the next show, you can look up because I
doubt I will. I'll keep it as my own. All right, man. Have a great day, man.
All right.